This is 5 on your side at 5. Focused on you.
A family from Iowa can leave Missouri with some peace after a decades-long mystery was finally solved in Lincoln County. Tonight, a closer look at the disappearance of Helen Grooms and how police finally cracked the case more than 40 years later. Thanks for joining us. I'm Mike Bush.
I'm Kelly Jackson. We first brought you this exclusive story yesterday. Today, authorities held a news conference to talk about the teamwork used to identify this Jane Doe. Justina Coronel has been covering this in Troy, Missouri. She is in studio with more.
Mike and Kelly, today's news conference really highlighted the important work multiple people did to get these results. Now, while we still don't know how this woman died, we do know she's now back with her family. It's a moment they can finally hold on to. Their hands grip this box filled with their loved one's ashes.
I'm just overwhelmed with joy that we found my sister and able to bring her home.
For more than 45 years, Kevin Grooms yearned to be reunited with his sister. 15-year-old Helen Grooms went missing in 1977 from their hometown in Iowa. They never knew where she went.
Today marks a significant moment.
Her body floated down to Lincoln County and was found in 1978. Ever since then, she's been buried in Troy as Jane Doe. At the time, autopsy reports believe she was 30 to 40 years old.
For 46 years, we were looking for a missing person in our 30s. We were looking for the wrong person.
But today's technology and tenacity redirected investigators.
Because everybody deserves closure.
Students from Southeast Missouri State University, along with anthropology professor Dr. Jennifer Bankston, are helping solve missing person cases, including this one.
Our analysis of dental and bone development made it clear almost immediately that this was a teenager.
Extracting DNA guided them in the right direction.
DNA taken from her brother, Kevin Grooms, provided the crucial match that allowed us to identify her.
Her uncle Roger Castle waited and wondered all these years. Now he wants to help others heal too.
When I get home, I'm going to the coroner's office in Des Moines, Iowa. I'm gonna have to talk with them people and see if they've got any programs going like this and get them started if they don't.
They held on to hope, and now they're holding on to Helen, never letting go.
Don't give up.
While this brought closure to their family, the Lincoln County Sheriff said they're still working on 2 other missing person cases in the area. Now, this includes Arlen Henderson, who went missing in 1991, and Bianca Piper in 2005.
Justina, thanks. A boys basketball coach at MICDS is charged with harassing 2 students and sending one of them pornographic material. Lee Bogan Jr. is accused of sending inappropriate messages to the students earlier this year. Those conversations were reported to school officials. The school tells us he was a contracted non-faculty assistant basketball coach. He worked there seasonally and was not an employee when the alleged crimes happened. Bogan also used to play for Jennings High School. This video is from 2014. He graduated in 2015. He's now behind bars in St. Louis County.
Tonight, the National Weather Service is surveying damage following storms across the bi-state. An EF0 touched down for just minutes last night in Chesterfield, north of Interstate 64. For a closer look at last night's storms, let's check in with Weather First meteorologist Jim Castillo.
Yeah, what a night. So we had this one confirmed tornado. Here's the exact track right here. Again, about 2 miles long, and the old Chesterfield Mall is right about here. 141 right there. We'll zoom in a little bit more. And again, this lifted as it approached St. Luke's, which is on the other side of 141, Parkway Central to the north and Maryville College to the south. So let's check that exact path. Again, about 2 miles in length. And on the Fujita scale, EF0 is the weakest you could get, but still peak winds of 85 miles an hour. And the width on this, 332 yards. Again, just to the east of Olive Boulevard and to the west of Woods Mill. All right, so we also had a lot of rain too. There's also hail and high wind reports. Washington, Missouri, for example, had over 72 mile per hour wind gusts, but 24-hour rainfall totals, we had from about 2 to 4 inches across the area. So flash flood warnings throughout the night. Everything was really active, and tonight it's just to the southeast of us, which is good news. It's away from our area. Bad news for our friends in Kentucky all the way into Ohio. Cincinnati's under the gun right now with a tornado watch and several warnings. Much more on our chilly forecast coming up in just a few minutes.
All right, see you then, Jim. Tonight, crews are working to repair power lines knocked over in Chester, Illinois, where straight line winds hit. 5 on your side's Mercedes McCabe reports from Randolph County.
We're in Chester, Illinois, which was one of the many areas that was severely hit from the overnight storms. Take a look behind me at this power line. The strong winds from overnight completely split this power line into three. And then as you go up, you can see that the power line is actually slanted into the street. And if we make our way over down State Street here, this is just one of what we can see, 6 power lines down here. And that semi-truck you see all the way in the back has been trapped between the power lines for hours. State Street remained shut down for hours in Chester due to the numerous down power lines. Many had to find alternate ways to work, including employees at the manor at Craig Farms who got to work by the maintenance manager side by side. The assisted living facility also dealt with power outages and hail damage. The manager describing these events as a, quote, major setback for their day-to-day operations.
We usually provide amazing meals. You know, we're kind of doing cereal and the essentials today. The girls are kind of just going with flashlights. Some got headlamps on, making sure the residents are safe and getting their medications on time too.
During the peak hours of this storm, Ameren, Illinois said about 1,000 customers here in Chester were without power. In Chester, Mercedes McKay, 5 on your side.
The cleanup continues tonight in areas where the storm caused flash flooding. This is along Manchester Road and Rock Hill near Deer Creek. One driver had to be rescued. And this is an area that floods often. One business employee tells us it's frustrating waiting for a long-term solution to the problem.
We thought that things would get better with all of the construction that they were working on, but apparently there's still more that needs to be done.
For more than a decade, there's been a community effort to improve Deer Creek that includes catch basins and plants to prevent flooding. Missouri voters are casting ballots in dozens of local races tonight. Polls close in less than 2 hours.
Dozens of cities and towns are electing mayors or deciding the fate of marijuana taxes. But our political editor Mark Maxwell is monitoring the big question that could impact your wallet.
Yeah, our underground water infrastructure is old. It breaks, it leaks, it backs up, and that's not allowed. The feds say you've got to fix this kind of stuff. It's hazardous. So who's going to pay for it? Should we all pitch in a lot more money now and incur some of that short-term pain, or should we borrow money and pay it back over the long term, plus all that interest? That's the big question at hand in Prop W, W for wastewater. This stuff, you've got to manage it. The Metropolitan St. Louis Sewer District, or MSD, wants to borrow $750 million to upgrade sewer systems that stretch under the city and county. Prop S for stormwater would let MSD raise property taxes about $25 a year on homeowners to build new infrastructure to rebuild and redesign flood drainage systems that sometimes back up into those sewer systems. Officials have been presenting all these choices, yes and no, as binary choices with no alternatives. But the reality is, we're only in this position because we built all this underground infrastructure back when we had almost 1.6 million people paying into the system. And since then, we've seen that tax base shrink considerably. We have roughly 300,000 fewer people now paying into that system, driving everyone else's rates this much higher.
And you can get expanded election coverage tonight on 5 on your side at 10. You'll be seeing more of Mark, or you can get real-time results at ksdk.com/elections. And you can get a link to our voter guide at ksdk.com/guide, or you can also text the word guide to 314-425-5355. We'll be happy to send you a link.
Aid workers in